Now's the time in bar dance, bar dude. I was trying to be funny there. Now's the time in the bar dad when we drink.
It's the Bar Dad.
Hey gang, so what we're going to do now is Castle has brought some selections. Can you walk us through just the different bottles, and then we'll pop one open?
Yeah, sure. So these are different brewings in different years. So I started out, the reason I wanted to brew a mead at all is I wanted to make the drink, the wine, for my wedding.
So it's a wine, by the way.
It is a wine. It is a
Okay.
wine. If you wanted to brew officially, you would have a wine license instead of a beer license. So you could replace a lot of these steps with wine grapes or any sugar, really, to get the alcohol. So it started out with brewing for the wedding. I don't have a bottle of that left, but it went in this order, essentially. So this is a blueberry mead. I purchased the wildflower honey because I didn't have a harvest yet. And then I added blueberries from a farm that is like less than a mile from the house. Then this was my first harvest, my first personal harvest out of my hives. Then I made this one for my brother's wedding, and this is honey from my hives, but we added hibiscus, so it's got kind of a pink color. That was their colors for their wedding. And then this is the most recent one. It is just straight from my hive. It was a spring harvest.
So it's young.
Yeah, it's a young.
It's young. Does mead age?
Absolutely. Like any wine, mead does age, and I discovered, you'll find out from this first one here, that if you skip the aging on oak step, you're gonna have a really astringent wine, and it takes a lot longer to be drinkable.
Yeah, okay.
So for any of you out there that want to try making a mead, don't skip the aging on oak step. It's very important. It's the difference between being able to drink your mead in a year and being able to drink it in 3 years. And it's still...
I can't wait that long.
Yeah, I can't either, no. If you want to make beer,
I'm more of
2
an
weeks.
immediate gratification.
Yeah, then you want a beer.
I'm like, go to Total Wine, and that's like,
Fair. But if you do brew beer, it's drinkable in 2 weeks. The wines, they take a little longer, especially if you're going to do the stupid route like me and raise the bees first, then harvest the honey. And,
you're pretty hardcore.
Yeah, well, I don't have...
That's why God invented Publix for us.
Can you bleep this, Caroline? I don't have anything. I use my whole...
All right, let's open one up. Let's take a look at
start.
what the nectar looks like.
Let's start at the beginning. So this is the blueberry one. This is not my honey. This is with a blueberry added from a local farm, and I've got to use the other side.
Amateur.
I thought it was amateur hour, wasn't it?
Okay, so there definitely is a bluish hue.
Yeah, it's darker. I would say it's got a little bit. It's a little more cloudy than maybe the clarity of the most recent one. So it does have kind of a bluey purple tint.
Pour me some of that.
Absolutely.
Take a look at that. All right. So we always tell the bar dad audience, make sure you always sniff.
Sniff first, yeah.
What you're going in.
Yeah.
Okay, so
tell me what you smell.
you get the edge of the blueberry, right? And the edge of what you're picking up, you do get the blueberries, but there's this earthy kind of I don't want to say musty, but it's earthy.
So I think that probably attests to your Scotch background, because there is peat in this.
Is there really?
Yeah, there is peat in this. Mm-hmm.
Did you smoke it? Or?
So I purchased it. It is a smoked peat,
okay.
But I do purchase it from a brewing store.
Okay.
A supply store here in town.
So, but the smoke and the peat is an option. It's not something that goes in every.
Yeah, it's an option.
So why did you choose to do the smoked peat with the blueberries?
Yeah, I was experimenting. So I wanted to try. I had done the straight mead with.
You were young. You needed the money. You were
That's
experimenting.
correct. So I had done the straight mead, and I had great success with my first one for the wedding, and I just used water, honey, and yeast. So I wanted to branch out, and I aged on oak. So I wanted to skip the oak step because I wanted to see how much of a difference does this oak thing really make, and the answer is a lot. But I also wanted to try adding a fruit, so that's where the blueberries come from, and I added the peat as well, just to see what it would do.
Well, there's when it comes to earthiness, one of the things that I've picked out on sometimes is almost almost a raw meat kind of essence to it. Like it's got a minerally kind of.
I can get the mineral, yeah,
so
absolutely.
but
Okay.
it's tinged by the blueberry. You can actually, now that you mentioned oak,
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, you
All right,
smell the other
I'm a
ones.
little terrified drinking it because it sounds like it's very complex.
Like I said, so this is 3 years old, and it's still a little, I say astringent because it hasn't aged on oak. The oak pulls out a lot of the tartness of it and reveals the sweetness. So it has taken 3 years of aging to actually, in my opinion, be drinkable. So I've got a bunch of this lying around. So
All right, let's go in.
It's mellowed a lot since I first made it.
Well, I'm bloody hell thankful because
It's the aftertaste, right?
well, first of all, it does literally suck every ounce of moisture out of your mouth.
Yeah.
It disappears.
Yeah.
On the back end.
It's very dry.
It's extremely dry. It's. I was expecting more of a hit when you talk about astringency and you know that edge. I didn't get any of that.
We'll try that.
It kind of led right into it, and then it's like bam of this heaviness at the end where you get the earth just coming right at you, and then it just stays there forever.
You can taste the blueberry at the
Very end. Yeah.
So this is when I say astringent, when it was a year old when I first tried it, it was like medicine. It was not undrinkable, but that's the way experiments go sometimes. So it's mellowed out. I still wish I had aged it on oak, and you'll see in some of the later ones, I used different yeasts as well. So I was experimenting with those, and this is a higher alcohol content, which is why it's drier. There's not
Is that why you're looking more attractive?
No, that's just me. I get better with age. Just like this mead.
It's not working that fast? No, okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
All right, so not something I would sit and like nurse for an evening, right?
No.
I wouldn't have the wench bring this hither to me.
Sure.
It'd
be sloshed.
Well, so what would you assume that alcohol content is on that?
This one is actually, believe it or not, this is the lowest at 10%.
Really?
Yes, it's the lowest. And what's going to scare you is the other ones are much sweeter and not nearly as dry. And
It sneaks up on you.
It sneaks up on you because you wouldn't expect it to be a higher alcohol
Yeah,
content.
this sneaks up on you like a Mack truck.
Yes, it does. Yeah. This is.
All right, welcome back to this edition of Frankenmead. Here we've got Dr. Frankenmead is feeding me all sorts of experiments, and
Yes.
I believe you have another mead experiment for me to try.
That is part of the brewing process. It's
Yes.
trying different things out and seeing what works and what doesn't.
By the way, that's a very pretty bottle.
Yeah, thank you. It's cobalt. I used these for my wedding, and handed them out and didn't ever get any of them back. So if you're watching, I want my bottles back.
He can't have mine.
So this one is, let's see, that one was 3 years old. I believe this one is about 2 years old now.
Okay.
Because I reused the bottle after the mead. So my presentation changed a little bit. I'm an art guy. Would you like to sniff the bottle there, Yogi?
Oh.
I think what the heck you were looking for.
Okay. This smells like a 4-day-old open IPA
Ooh,
that's been sitting in the hot sun.
that's awful.
You said it. I was just throwing out some imagery
Yeah,
here.
sure, why not?
Smell it. It's like.
Yeah, it's different. Let's after we pour it, let's see if the nose changes.
Okay. Do we need to shake it or something like that?
No, I wouldn't actually, because it's a home brew. It's not processed. It's not filtered all the way. I do clarify them, but a lot of sediment still falls to the bottom, like a lot of wines do.
Sediment is Frankenmead for crap that falls to the bottom of the bowl.
It's leftovers.
Nice.
It would be in this case, it would be pollen. It would be yeast that didn't get pulled out. It would be maybe a little bit of sugar. So a few leftovers that didn't get clarified.
Some unmentionable things that are on your list that are way down at the bottom that might still be there.
You know it.
May include one or more of the following.
Yes. Yeah. So no disclaimers here. This is a non-labeled mead.
Honey, all my paperwork is in order, right?
Seriously though, see if it changes its
Okay, it's
notes.
definitely, obviously, a vastly different color
Yeah.
than the blueberry stuff that you poured. Going in.
I'm curious. Does the smell change
Okay,
for you?
it does. It's not as absolutely intense. Now, we talked about this too. When you have a bottle or a glass that funnels up to the top, you get the full bore of whatever's in the glass.
Correct.
Right? So
this is 2 years worth of sitting
in there.
and aging. Yeah. So that's the first time it's been cracked in 2 years.
Okay, so it's more accessible than coming out of the bottle.
The color comes from both the addition of the blueberries and the season in which the honey was harvested.
Is there anything, any additives in this? Like
no, this is straight
mead, honey mead?
Yep, this is straight honey mead. So this is going to be just the honey. It's a spring honey, so it's a lower sugar content, lighter color.
Oh, no. I kind of dig this, actually.
Good.
Thank God. Okay, because when you smelled it, and you think you're going to take it, and it's like BAM! You know, like because that's how bad it smelled. Or not bad. It was interesting.
Like Snickers.
Like my daughter's Snickers.
Oh.
Make sure that gets in there. But the flavor is so just underestimated.
Okay,
you need to try some of this.
So I've got so many going, I don't remember exactly what this one is like. So let me join you. Anybody?
It's extremely subtle.
Pour off a little bit. Yeah, it should be. This is, like I said, it's a lighter color honey. It's a lower sugar content. Honestly, in Florida, we get, this is kind of cool. We get 3 harvesting seasons. We're one of the luckiest states because we have tropical climate. So we get 3 harvesting seasons in Florida. We get a spring, a fall, and a winter season. And the spring honey is the best. It's the darkest. It's the richest. The fall honey is very light and it's low on sugar content, which is what you're drinking now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I think you're gonna be surprised.
It's thicker. It's got a thicker.
But it's not viscous. It's
not.
It almost has the texture of a Chardonnay.
A little bit, yeah. Now, the reason that you're picking up on that is I did what's called back sweetening on this. So I added an additional sugar, a glucose that can't ferment. So it doesn't increase the alcohol content. It just increases the sweetness because there's not enough sugar in this, in my opinion.
So you would prefer something sweeter?
I would prefer something a little sweeter and a little thicker.
So, but you would have to admit that it was a little unexpected, or did you expect that?
No, a little unexpected. Like I said, it's been this one's been sitting for 2 years, and I haven't cracked that one open yet in a while. So
now, do you serve mead at room temperature, cold?
Great question. I prefer it cold. You can serve it at room temperature.
This would be fantastic cold.
I agree, and I prefer it at a cold temperature. We didn't chill any of these ahead of time, but I do prefer it cold. It does drink well like a white wine at room temperature. And at Christmas time, a warmed mulled mead with spices is spectacular.
And the hangover is something fierce.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay. All right. Now you brought a new batch for us that we're going to talk. Can you talk a little bit about what's in this one?
Sure. So this is the most recent batch. It's the youngest of the ones that we've tasted so far. This is, again, from my hives. It is a spring harvest, which means in my particular area, it's got some orange blossom, which again is my favorite, as well as a little bit of blueberry and a little bit of wildflower. So you should pick up on that in the smell of it as well.
May?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So immediately you get this waft of orange right up there. Very citrusy. Oh.
This should also be the thickest of the 3, just because it's the honey is very, very dense.
Why don't you pour some?
Yeah.
You'd be the honors.
Be happy to.
Oh, now that's almost like a Sauv Blanc color, where the previous one was a little more on the gold side of it.
Yeah.
This is extremely light. I don't know if you can see that. All right. It's got legs too, a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, this smells fantastic.
Yeah.
This smells like a fruit cup here.
This should be learning from your experimentation.
Okay, so what I enjoy about this is very citrusy. And that's the blueberries and the oranges, right? But it almost collects like it just coats the mouth with that citrus flavor.
It does.
There's a hint of oak finished.
Yeah, so this was.
So it's got a bit of the spice, bit of the oak spice in it, in the right, like kind of in the middle. but it's blanketed in this puffy citrus sweet thing.
And it's great that you're picking up on that, Yogi, because it's a darker roast to the oak, so it was a darker char initially, and I left the oak on longer. I learned from the blueberry one that oak matters, so I left this one on a little extra long and used a little darker char, and that results in a slightly oakier flavor.
Because it does have almost a slight like a whiskey touch to it, like it was finished in a whiskey barrel or something. You got a little bit of that earthy kind of whiskey, oaky, spicy thing going for it. This is really good.
I'm glad you like that one.
And you can tell it's got a higher sugar content because it coats your teeth too.
This one is at 14% alcohol, so this is the highest of the three, and you wouldn't guess that just by tasting it, because it is fairly sweet. Good. I'm glad you like it.
What's next for you? Because Franken Mead.
Yeah.
You're about experimenting. Is this like, okay, you found the secret formula, or is there other stuff you want to do?
No. So I found the yeast that I want to use, and I found the oak that I want to use, and I found the honey that I want to use through all of these. And unfortunately, the honey that I want to use is not my honey. The honey that I produce in
so there's a honey out there for you somewhere.
There is.
Sorry, Jess.
For everyone. So in my particular area, I get kind of it's an amalgamation. It's whatever the bees bring in. And I don't know exactly what that is, but I have discovered that my first mead that used a straight orange blossom honey was the best. And I think that going forward, I'll still use my honey. That was the whole reason I got into beekeeping as well. But if I want to produce something for a wedding or for a show or for a competition or whatever, I will probably go ahead and contact my friend Jason at Be Serious and pick up some.
BeSerious.com?
I believe that's his website.
We can throw that on here, absolutely.
He's a
Castle, what's that say? Castle
Meadery.
Castle Meadery.
Yeah.
Oh, look at your fancy schmancy.
Yeah, I'm a presentation guy.
So, well, keep this recipe, because out of the three that I've tried tonight, this was by far the favorite.
Okay.
So when you see Castle Meadery at your local meadery,
eventually, maybe.
Eventually, one in your neighborhood.
It is in the 5-year plan.
It is. Open up a meadery.
It is.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a bar dad episode at the meadery.
Okay.
All right. Andrew, I appreciate you staying the entire week at the house to finish up 2 episodes. Really appreciate that.
It was a pleasure.
I thoroughly enjoyed tasting every single one of these, and it was educational. As I said last week, you are the person that introduced me to meads. You've created an interest in meads, and I know what I'm talking about when somebody says, "Would you like a mead?" And I said, like, the hell? I know what he's talking about.
Well, you reciprocated the favor. You introduced me to a spicy, it was like a pepper mead, like a dragon's breath mead. It had a
honey habanero.
Honey habanero mead.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I am currently actually.
Oh, you know, so need to do that.
I'm currently making my own habanero mead. I've got it fermenting right now because I like that one so much. So.
Guess who's trying the first batch?
You are.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Done deal. All right. So Bar Dad people, don't forget to please find us on Instagram. Follow us there. Find us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. His beard is still the same length as it was last week. And if you have any questions, comments, or something you'd like to see on the Bar Dad, email us at thebardad@gmail.com. So, honey, keep your friends close and your mead closer. Ciao. I guess I should drink. Let's try that again. So, until next time, keep your friends close and your meat closer. Bring it to me, you Heather! Heather! Where's my mead? Wench! Bring my... What am I drinking? Mead.
Heather, you need some help!
Heather, come hither. I need my wench. Okay. Until next time, keep your friends close and your mead closer. Wench! Bring my mead hither!
Hither!
Cheers.
God, I'm out of mead.
Cut.
It's the Bar Dad.